Would you like to know what it takes to get in the best shape of your life, or even a step further and become a bikini competitor? Well, today I'm going to be talking to the really inspirational Mareya Ibrahim, who is 53 years old. Hello fam, and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal, and this channel is all about helping you, if you're a woman over 40 or like me over 50, get in fantastic shape. And Mareya Ibrahim has achieved the ultimate success with her own body. At 53 years old, she actually competed in her first bikini show, and I wanted to get her onto this channel. Now, I don't just have anybody onto this channel, because not only is Mareya a fantastic bikini competitor, she's also a prolific entrepreneur and a public figure. She's actually a chef, a nutritionist, she's a best-selling author, she's got her own podcast, she's done numerous TV appearances showing women how to cook wonderfully flavoursome, fantastic food and actually get in shape. Right off the back of a bikini competition, I spoke to her and she actually got 5th place, which is absolutely amazing. You know, getting any kind of placings is a real achievement when you're talking about bikini shows. And the first question I asked her was actually, how did she find competing and getting ready for her first bikini show?
I loved everything about it, and I also hated it, but at the same time I loved it. Do you know what I mean? Because it challenged me in ways that I have never been physically, emotionally, spiritually challenged before. You know, I think to push yourself to a place where you're beyond, it's almost like an out-of-body experience. You know, it's like you're training 6 days a week, and even in your off day you're still training in a way. There were several things that I really loved. Number one was I really put myself out there to meet other women, and I ended up meeting some amazing women, like women that I will be friends with. I'm convinced, a couple of them were in the 40s and 50s range. So we just talked about that and, what it feels like to be a more mature woman doing this. I was really, I'm going to say proud of myself that I was able to kind of put on, I think you have to sort of put on a persona, to be able to get up on a stage in front of thousands of people in a little tiny bikini that barely covers your body, like it doesn't cover anything, and do your posing and just tune the world out, tune your inhibitions out. I saw the pictures afterwards and I was like, I belonged up there. Like, because I had a lot of inhibition before that. I was like, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I'm really like in shape enough. I don't know if I have what it takes. But afterwards, I was like, I belonged up there, and I worked really hard, and by God, I beat women less than half my age. Let me just preface that it wasn't just about going up there and beating other women. It was about beating myself. We are athletes. This is not just like you go up there and prance around in a bikini if you're slim. We work hard, and we work our muscles hard, and you diet hard, you do everything hard, and there's a science to it. I mean, literally, and I'm a chef, so it's really hard to like restrict yourself dietarily, eating the same things every day, basically, not really being able to go out to eat with your family and friends, not having alcohol, those pressure days where you're just like, I just really want a snack. I was so strict on myself. I was like, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it all the way through. The sacrifice is not just going to the gym and working out. It's your whole lifestyle. And if you can't do that, and I don't know about you, Melissa, but I feel like the runway for getting prepped is not 12 weeks. Like, we're talking it depends on the shape you're in, but if you're in great shape already, like it's going to take you at least 16 weeks. There's no way you can do it in 12. Like, I think that's crazy to think. The real thing is go in with realistic expectations. Really go in understanding, because a lot of people give up in the last month. This starts to talk and your brain starts to tell you, what am I doing? I'm not good enough. You start comparing yourself to other people and you're like, I don't look like her. I don't have the confidence to do it. So you have to be strong enough to shut that out. At 53, I think I can do that now. I don't know if I could have done it in my early 40s. I don't know. I certainly couldn't have done it in my 30s or my 20s. Like, no way.
What Mareya told me absolutely resonates with me as a bikini competitor. She kind of hit the nail on the head, really what it's like. And for me, Mareya is actually like a sister from another mother. We've got so many similarities that it was really strange coincidence, because the way that I actually met her is she actually watches all my YouTube videos and she wanted to interview me for her podcast. And then when I actually checked her out and found out what she did, I just thought, wow, this woman is amazing and she's achieved so much. But would you believe it? She actually went through, just like you and me, a really bad time with depression because of the whole pandemic and COVID.
Because I went through a deep, dark depression after COVID. I really struggled and went through a lot of transition in my own body. I tore my ACL and meniscus and had to recover from that. And, it was just a lot that emotionally I felt very just spent on. And, I'm an entrepreneur. I've been on TV many times. Like, you do these things and you think you're prepared, but it's never what it is until you go through it and actually see it through.
Now, Mareya is actually a professional nutritionist. She's a professional chef. She's written a book, so she really knows her stuff when it comes to nutrition and women over 40. So the burning question I had to ask her was, what is the biggest mistake that she thinks that women make over 40?
The biggest thing is food. Right? I mean, nutrition. I think there's still this mentality that people have that you can out-train a diet, and you can't, so we need to really kind of reframe what our diet should look like and just push all the fads aside. I just can't stand all these fad diets that come up that are all about quick weight loss. It's not about quick weight loss. It's about maintaining a healthy body composition. That's really what we need to emphasize. So that needs to lead with protein, and lean protein is really the sustenance for any bodybuilder. And it should be for us as women too, especially as we're aging. We want to build a composition that burns fat, that boosts metabolism, that allows you to keep healthy muscle mass and to help protect your skeletal system from injury, and osteoporosis. So every meal starts with protein and ends with protein. Do you add vegetables? Of course you do. Do you add, I'm going to call them slow burning carbohydrates that sit in your system that give you sustenance and fiber and all those good things and nutrients, but don't burn like tinder. It's not like the white flour stuff. It's, we eat a lot of oats in meal prep, brown rice. You can have quinoa, you can have spelt and millet and farro and some of these ancient grains that are also really good. And I talk a lot about them in my book, but the macronutrient balance that you go into it with, you want to have your diet be around 40% protein, 35 to 40% protein. I don't want women to fear carbs, because you actually need carbs to build muscle. And don't be scared of having good fat. I do like plant-based fat, avocados and nuts and seeds and healthy oils. that's where you can get your good fat. But remember, fat is 9 times the calories of a protein. So you want to just keep that in check.
Now, Mareya's actually got a best-selling book. So I asked her about what the book is all about.
It's called Eat Like You Give a Fork. The reason I put it together was very much because of this. Before I decided to do this competition, I've dedicated the last 27 years of my career to the food industry, teaching people how to eat, cooking, being on the editorial side. I was the editor of a magazine. I'm the associate publisher of Edible Orange County. I love educating people on how to eat and how to create beautiful food that feeds their body to the core. The book was really an extension of that. So it's 8 essential rules to achieve that. So I really kind of walk people through what they need to do to reframe how they eat. And it starts with a taste bud reset that is helping people to learn how to cut the cravings of salt and sugar. When you can't eat salt, very salty processed foods and sugar for 4, 6, 8, 12 months, you really start to learn, wow, like that's a lot of my diet. If you're the average person, right? I mean, sugar is pervasive. It's in cough syrup. It's in children's vitamins, and I'm not talking about just white refined sugar. I'm talking about honey, agave. These are still sugars. Your maple syrup. I think sometimes we try to elude ourselves into thinking these natural sources. Well, sugar is natural too. But the problem is it hijacks your taste buds, and therefore you end up not craving the foods that are better for you. And then we talk about the macronutrients, the types of proteins to eat, the types of carbs, the types of fat, how to use intermittent fasting effectively. I know we've talked about this too, but there's a way to do it. I talk about the 90-10 rule and how 90% of the time you eat this way, 10% of the time you eat whatever the fork you want. Give your body a few extra calories because it helps with your metabolism, but also because we're human. If we are always in that mode of, diet, we're going to rebel and it's not going to be pretty. And so I give people these parameters, these 8 kind of working rules. And then around the rules, there are recipes to support them. And I also teach people how to make a shopping list and how to create what I call convertible meals, where you can make meals on the fly, just using these macronutrient ingredients.
I wanted to know if she had any tips to actually jazz up your food, and also cooking for a family, which I know is a big problem for a lot of you guys watching.
What's beautiful is using, seasonings, spices, herbs, vinegars. Vinegars can create so much dynamic flavor in a dish, using citrus, lemon juice, and lime juice. I mean, you can really transform, even cooking with wine, by the way, which, you can do a little splash of wine here and there. It's not going to hurt you. My family gets a choice. They either eat what I'm making or they make their own. 9 times out of 10, they would have what I was making. I think when you have your goal in mind, whether it's a competition or you just want to fit back in your jeans again, or you want to chase after your grandkids, your children, this is a lifestyle to me. It's not just like we did this and now I'm like eating everything in sight. I lost my mom and both of my grandmothers to stroke. We have a propensity to heart disease in my family, and I don't want to go down that road. So that's my ultimate why.
It's quite prevalent in our community, isn't it? What I mean is people with African heritage will find that they, often they've got family members. We've got family members which have got a higher propensity to heart disease and type 2 diabetes. So that can be your really strong reason why.
My mom had diabetes as well, and I feel like for the African American community and the Latino community in particular, because I've done a lot of work in those areas, multicultural, health education, the number one problem is sugar. And it usually boils down to soda. Soda is like just such a calorie glut, and there's no benefit there. At least if you have fruit, You've got natural sugar, but you've got fiber and you've got so many phytonutrients. When you've got soda, there's nothing. Juice, there's nothing. It's just sugar, concentrated sugar. So being able to help women get their taste buds right is so important. Hydration is maybe even, I'm not going to say more important because obviously food is, but it's equally as important because you're flushing toxins, you're helping digestion with water. Every cellular function in your body requires hydration to keep your cells healthy.
I talk a lot about the toxins you can have in your body and the impact on weight loss. So I wanted to find out what Mareya's thoughts were on this.
Toxins act as though they are like foreign, like think of the game Space Invaders. I don't know why I grew up with that game. So I just think about that, like
too, yeah.
Literally trying to come in and invade our cells. And many of these toxins are considered obesogens. They actually sit in your fatty tissue, it's called your adipose tissue. And because they're foreign objects, your body doesn't really know how to process them. So they just kind of sit in there and it's very hard to get them out. So, and they, just like the name suggests, they make it very challenging for you to lose weight and for you to actually get rid of that stubborn fat.
Now, as I said earlier, Mareya is actually an entrepreneur. She's not only brought out her own book, but she actually has her own product line called Eat Cleaner.
My dad got cancer, and my dad's a scientist. He actually has his master's in agriculture and his PhD in environmental health sciences. And when he got cancer, I was just wrecked. My dad's my hero, just an amazing man and dad and grandfather and everything you can imagine. I just made it my mission to figure out what we could do to have him be able to eat a salad safely, because the doctors told him to avoid all raw food, anything raw, anything uncooked. I found out that leafy greens are the #1 cause of foodborne illness. So when you think of salmonella and E. coli and listeria, somebody like my dad who is autoimmune compromised, like that could kill him. We started working on developing the product line together. So Eat Cleaner is our product line, and we make products to help remove up to 99.99% of the pesticide residue, bacteria, and wax that seals all that junk in that can make you sick. It extends produce shelf life up to 5 times longer. So you can bring home your fresh fruits and vegetables, wash them with our Eat Cleaner. It comes in a liquid, a powder, and a wipe form, so you can use it at home and on the go. And it will last you, strawberries can last up to 21 days.
So I'm going to put a link to Mareya's book, the Eat Cleaner products. And Mareya's also got a free hormone balancing program, so you can check them out for yourself.